This is an 8-iron, and it's a dead shank.
Wow.
Way right.
Oh, takes a hop off the path.
You got to be kidding me. Very tough pitch shot right here. You got to hit it into the hill. One hop up and bite, and it's in.
Kind of like that.
I would like to welcome back to the Sub 70 podcast a professional golfer who truly enjoys a fresh pack of Chesterfields early in the morning when he's smelling the dew and the fresh cut grass, along with us Manhattan, the one, the only. Mike,
you got to put rye. You got to put rye in that, in the Manhattan. The rye whiskey in the Chesterfield. It really enhances the burn in the chest.
Right. I mean that's amazing. Right.
One of these days, I'm going to try all the cigarettes he keeps throwing out there and just see which one I like, so I can submit a Yelp review.
Can you imagine how harsh a Field Straight would be? That was like the number one cigarette in 1951. There's no way you could get two of them down without just literally dying.
Hey, man,
like, there's no way.
That's the post-World War II economy there. Chesterfields.
Yeah, right. Like that's like be dead at 49 of a heart attack. You smoked those for 25 years. Like you're not.
I think that's what my grandma and grandpa actually smoked when he got back for the war with Chesterfields. I'll have to double check on that. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, that's a man's. That's not like I'm not screwing around set there. That's like give me lung cancer.
Well, that makes
now.
Wild Turkey seem like a talent. You know? Yeah. Compared to the cigarettes nowadays.
Well, speaking of your health, there's a rumor you had to pull out of the qualifier. You're not feeling good. You got the sniffles. I'm going to ask what else is going on with your body, but you doing okay?
I am just fine. I literally had a 24-hour head cold starting Monday night. My qualifier was Tuesday morning. I had to email the guys and just say, hey, I can't show up, sneezing or coughing because it's in your protocol. I can't do it, even though I don't have COVID. I was going to try and mask it and show up, but I just couldn't do that and get away with it because if someone calls me, then I'm spending the night in jail next to some guy I'm probably not going to be very good friends with. So I ended up bagging it. I mean, it was 38 degrees and snowing here on Tuesday, so wasn't overly, disappointed in missing it. But in the end, though,
you weren't.
Go ahead.
You weren't crying.
I wasn't quite crying. My girlfriend noticed that I was a little bit, what would be the word to describe it, on edge around the house that day because I was just staring out windows a lot and listening to Seal and stuff like that. So it was, maybe a little bit of Celine Dion, but it was tough. I mean, like I've only had to withdraw from one other tournament in my golf career, and it was due to injury at the Monday qualifier in Indiana. And so I actually had to think of how I even wrote a withdrawal email to the Southwest PGA section and Mike Martino. So yeah, it's always fun,
Well, these things will if they don't kill you, you come back stronger.
Well,
so I'm going to expect continued greatness in 2021 from you. This mild setback.
Just a mild setback in my training program. I'm having my first drink this week with you because you told me that the more if I'm halfway in the bag, the show's a lot more interesting. So I'm a cheap date tonight.
I mean, at least for me it is. I mean, I have a lit, right?
Well, I'm calling you saying, hey, so my dad didn't really like the setup on the hybrid, the 7 hybrid that you sent him, right. And you're like, oh my God, I need a Chesterfield to get through this shit.
Right. Or I would just tell the old man to aim further right and hook it more and just let it go, right? Just nails, just let it go.
That poor
just
guy. I don't know what 2 hybrids you sent him, but he sent me a picture of one, and I go, I don't know which one that is because they were different. And he's a guy who doesn't like change, right? I told him 3 times that the putter that he ordered is sold out, and he's on. Next time you guys get the putter in stock, it's on its way. It's already reserved with his name on it. And he gets the box and he goes, hey, there's no putter in it. And I go, I told you 3 times there's no putter.
Well, he's like a 5-year-old at Christmas. You can't blame.
Well, the thing is,
right?
You got the old guy so excited with how far he was hitting his hybrids. I went home and played the simulator. I didn't take my clubs. I used his, and I thought about ordering some because they're just nuclear.
Yeah, we're going to get him shooting like 86 from 6,000 yards here.
You know what? As long as he doesn't have to chip, he's a great golfer. But rumor has it that's part of the game.
Can't you just his wrist to the wedge so there's no flip at all, where it's just no choice? You just lock him in.
Right, but that goes against everything that Club Pro guy teaches. Hold it coming down, and then as soon as you feel like you're out of position, you panic, flip it.
Flip it.
Right.
Just flip. Bodies flip.
I know that you.
it's what the grades do.
Right, and I know that you have an Android phone, so it's like shooting a 70s styles porno on that thing with the video quality. But if I took a video of my dad
HS beta
chipping, you would say, "Wow, I can't believe that this guy still plays golf."
Can't you just teach him to accentuate the left wrist forward and don't
Well,
down?
he has this thing. He falls under the category of a neurological disorder.
Ooh, is it a yip?
Yeah, that's the dreaded yip at the bottom. So so he is. So if I go into my lesson book of all 80 people that I've worked with over the years, and I have 6 people in the category of neurological disorders, I just have to pull up that file, and it's front page newspaper ad.
All right, so before we get into the PGA Tour, because I always like your perspective, you know all the guys out, this is actually a professional. And you've worked with a lot of people, and you've played in pro-ams, and you've helped people. Okay, and I'm dead serious when I ask this. So I know how to chip. You got the left wrist kind of motion, right? The classic Luke Donald, bowed left wrist, no flip, simple, right? Sweep the club, wedge doesn't work. What do you do for an amateur golfer who is struggling with that? How do you go about the yip or the flip body stop where they just can't kind of rotate? Hold that left wrist and retain that angle and just make that chip motion. So you've worked with a lot of people. You've done the pro-am stuff, like I said. Give me your 3 kind of how we're going to help this guy when you see it happening. How do you go with that problem?
Well, a lot of times when you have the bowed left wrist coming down, you basically have a narrow attack angle, right? And a lot of people feel that they have to help the ball into the air. So that's where the early, basically you would call it casting, you'd call it throwing the club head from behind, so on and so forth. You're never going to get in trouble striking down on the golf ball when you're chipping. You're never going to do it. And a lot of people either play the ball in the middle of their stance, where if you play the ball in the middle of your stance and you're holding the angle, your arms are going to outrace the club head and you're going to hit behind it, therefore feeling like you have to flip your wrist to get the club head to catch up. You either play the ball, if you're going to go high, super far forward in your stance, or you play it super far back in your stance, and you just play it low.
Isn't it easiest to put it back in the stance and just let them sort of shell it out in the bottom and just hit the ball first and don't
hit
flip?
Ball first and hit down, and you always want to feel like you have a little bit of an out to in motion. Because if you have the ball back and you're basically coming really far from the inside, your arms are going to go out and the club head is going to drop underneath your arm plane. Same thing that happens in the full swing, and you're going to have to flip it in order to get the club head to catch up. But play the ball.
Do you ever do the John Day drill where it's just one-handed? Just you do it left-handed if you're a right-handed golfer?
Always. And I'll go back and forth between hands because I'm a right-handed dominant chipper. I'm a right-handed dominant golfer, in everything that I do. Where there's no right and wrong way to do it, I just do everything right-handed. So my right hand being closer to the club head, I grip it tighter with that. That's where I put all my face rotation on it. And then I just keep my right forearm and my right wrist going forward if I want to drive it low. Or I just open the face, cut across it, get it going up a little higher in the air. If you're a left-handed golfer, it's probably easiest if you start with a pitching wedge and just stand next to the green, grip it all the way down to where the grip meets the shaft, and play it back, and then just work on keeping that left wrist stable, hinging it, holding it all the way through impact. Just to keep, that is if you are a flipper, which 95% of people that have chipping issues are flippers. And so you just can't let that break down. And Dave Pells, back in the day, he actually gave me a really good drill. He told me to stand super close to the ball, stand the shaft straight up so the toe is on the ground, and then take the shaft and anchor it against my forearm, my left forearm. So basically, it feels like your left arm is bowed, but it's really not. It's just straight, kind of the way you have to hold it. And it's exactly the same thing that Kuchar and DeChambeau do with their putting. But you stand super close with like a 7-iron or an 8-iron, put the toe down, let the shaft go up the forearm, and then you just make a putting motion. And with the toe down, it eliminates all of the grab from the grain. And
it's just a very simple way of doing it, of getting the face on the ball.
100%. If you are ever in doubt with a lie around the green, put the toe down, get really wide, and let it go. Because the toe what will happen is the toe will hit the grass, and it'll stop, and basically the hosel of the shaft will come through, and it'll help the ball into the air. It's just a simple way in order to get loft on the ball. I would recommend practicing it at least 100 times before you video yourself doing it and send it to all your friends.
It is though crazy. Like some people really struggle. It's I haven't had that happen where I've got a chipping yet, but it's like, yeah, I when we work with people in fittings, like you just sort of, don't just chip it. But people struggle, man. It's hard, right?
Super hard. And the thing is with PGA Tour courses is a lot of the greens that you will see are elevated. And back in, I want to say it was maybe the early 2000s, golf course superintendents, especially after the recession, they're like, how do we find out ways to eliminate the cost of golf course maintenance? And it's not growing the rough out around the greens. So like, if we can just not grow the rough out, we'll shave everything down, and we'll go from there. So if you're sitting there off a tight lie into the grain, going uphill to a tuck pin and have to stop it, it is a hard shot for 95% of golfers. It's a hard shot.
If it's into the grain, that's a hard shot, man. I'm just going safety first and putting off my back foot and going Nick Faldo's circa 1987 in the British Open. Like I'm just running.
100%. Well, and that's what a lot of guys have started doing. Because if you go back and you watch golf in the late 90s, early 2000s, there's thick rough around the greens everywhere. And it's a lot of people find it easier to chip out of thick rough because you have a cushion underneath the ball. Can you spin it as easily?
I agree.
Absolutely not. But, especially golf in the Midwest, back to front sloping greens, older style golf, rough around the edges, and you have more of a cushion underneath the chip. If you shave that down, all of a sudden you go, man, I have 6 different ways that I can play this shot. And very little margin of error. And you have,
the worst for me is, like I said, and like Florida, like the tight around the, and I'm a Midwest guy, right? So I'm not used to the grain, like really grainy into you, tight Florida. Ooh,
horrible.
That's, I don't even. I mean, I've resorted to just taking my 12-footer and moving quietly. Like I don't. You have to have somebody show you how to hit the lob shot to not stick it in the ground.
I tell you what, best in the business that I've seen. You had him on the podcast, Gabe Yedstead. He goes around and throws you into the grain, down grain. There was a time he had his old wedge out. We were down there working on some stuff a few years ago, and this is when him and Kevin Chappell were working together. So they go out on the back of the range at TPC, and he starts putting me out of like hard pan divots. And he had his old Cobra wedge that he had played in the Masters with that has 0 degrees of bounce. And it's all cut out on the back in order to cut through the grass. I mean, it's a really sweet wedge. And he went and he was just showing me how to hit out of divots with spin off a hard pan to short-sided pins. And it's amazing to watch because you have to be so aggressive, but you also have to be 100% in control because a lot of people think aggressive is lash at it, but you're not lashing. You're like you're aggressive, but you're also very smooth at the same time. And he'll go throw himself on a downslope into the grain to a short-sided pin, and he'll take a divot that looks like he just hit a 7-iron, and this ball will come out high spin, soft. He'll hit it like a bunker shot. and the thing just comes out dead and rolls out to 6 feet. And, you know, you're sitting there with your, I'll just say you're sitting there with your drink in your hand going, wow, I just lost another $100 to this guy when I thought I had him beat.
When we were referring to Gabriel Yepstead,
Yep.
Played European Tour and PGA Tour and winner, but the people listening know who we're talking about. When you see his short game up close, is it, I mean, I have a great short game. You're a professional. The guys you play with, it's great. Is it that much? Is it just stupid good of how efficient he is with his short game?
It's stupid good. I mean, when you watch him, so we'll go out there, we'll play 11 or 21, right? So you take 2 balls, and if you chip it, the first one the closest, you get 2 points. If your second ball is closest, you get 1 point, you know, so you can get all 3 points. But if he chips it to a foot, and then the second one's to 3 feet, and I chip it to 1 inch, 2 inch, I get all 3 points. If my first one is closest than his and the second one's closer than mine, I get 1 point. So we'll play to 11 or we'll play to 21 or whatever. And he will go throw you behind these mesquite trees at TPC and be completely short-sighted into the grain off of wet grass. And he'll just start throwing 60 degrees over trees and spinning them back to 4 feet, you know? And then you're sitting there and you're hitting your first one to 5 feet thinking it's good, but guess what? You're not closest. And then we'll go and throw in the downslope of a bunker with nothing to work with, short-sighted, and he'll hit, 2 to 4 feet, and you'll hit 1 to 1 foot, and then you'll skull tuck the other one over onto the other part of the driving range, you know?
He's that good. It's that world-class level of talent. He's that good.
It 100% is. And, I mean, there's a reason why the guy is home for a couple days, and then he's out in California, he's out in Texas, he's out in Florida, teaching all these guys. And you go on Instagram and watch his videos. I think his handle is Gabe Golf. It's world-class stuff. It does. And every now and then he'll screw up, and every now and then he'll screw up and you'll be like, wow, like I didn't realize that. But then he'll get on himself and he'll hit the next one to 6 inches. And there you go. Quick recovery process.
And he's a good guy.
He's awesome. He's awesome. He still straps his little workout deal around the tree in our courtyard, and like at 5 a.m, he's out there doing push-ups and stuff. It's pretty fun to watch. Then he goes and jumps in his non-heated pool, which in the middle of wintertime, that's a little rough.
Yeah, you're still out in your bathrobe on your third hill and your fourth cigarette, just taking life in and watching Gabe do this, right? I mean, you're not ready for that kind of activity early.
Robe and Bonnie slippers. Got the little foo-foo dog next to me. What are you doing, guy?
You're happy, right? You're living like you're in the French countryside or something.
Yeah, actually, in fact, I'm going to start buying a lot of Lacoste stuff since I can't buy Ralph Lauren anymore. Poor Justin Thomas.
Well, I was going to ask you too. You put an update. We were watching it kind of live as your account is getting killed. I'm coming back. I think you were down big. Then you rallied and won big on the PGA Tour home game with all the guys. So is there any updates on people love hearing the stories of the gamble pair and all the guys on tour? You rallied back is what I kind of correct story.
Here's the thing. Sean came out. He was 4 under through 4. His partner that day wasn't quite the snuff. He was just kind of hanging on, doing whatever. And Sean was immediately walking to the tee box. He goes, "Today might be a course record day, boys." And I'm going, "Oh shit." And we started clawing back a little bit. Sean made a bogey, which I was surprised to see. So he goes, "Well, there goes that." It happens, But so we climbed back. And by the way, when I meant I won big, I was probably down a couple $100. And I think we ended up winning 25 or 30. And it was a win. It was a big win. Yeah. I was riding high. I went and got a case of Top Ramen, came home, spoiled the girlfriend. She was super happy. So then the next day we go out and play, and Sean's partner shows up right for his tee time. He's still shaking from the night before, all this other stuff. And they took us for, Probably I'm just going to be safe here and say a couple $100. And I had to go home with my tail between my legs, confront the girlfriend, let her know I could not take her to Taco Bell that night. And, we were going to have to settle for something else like Del Taco.
Bush lattes and ramen
Yeah,
noodles.
it's
Like
just,
that.
the thing is, it is so, I'll say it time and time again, it is so impressive to watch Sean play golf. It just, anytime you go out there and you tee it up with a guy, he is a class act of a dude. He loves to have a good time. He even showed up on the second day. He's like, hey, guess what, boys? Not drinking today. And we're like, oh, okay, why is that? He goes, just going to take the day off from drinking. After 9 holes, he goes, I think he shot 1 under on the front. He goes, boys, I'm pissed. I'm going to go in and get a couple of tequila frescas. And I just said, oh, shit, we better play better on the back. And then Sean went out and lit us up on the back. He went and lit us up on the back. So it was, not good.
Well, it was speaking of, he must have found the happy point asking for like questions for the people on Twitter, the fans of the great Mike Dominick. I thought there was an interesting question that came about, and part of it is, and I know you've done some research on this, is what is basically kind of like I always equate it to darts in a bar. There is a sweet spot of alcohol versus performance. If you go 1 or 2 over, you go. If you're under, you're a little nervy. It's like the dart zone for golf. So I know you've done some research. It sounds like O'Hare found that on the back 9. I'm guessing you've been in the alcohol zone of greatness on the golf course before. It's not your first rodeo. What did you find doing your hardcore research on this of what's optimal for most golfers?
Well, I went with, so we had Sean. I mean, he just says, hey, 2 tequila frescas. I'm all right. And that's when he's out hanging out with the boys. He's a good dude. PGA Tour player number 2, he's going to remain anonymous. But he said 2 John Daly's on the front, 3 on the back, and he is quote unquote primed. And I have all the respect in the respect in the world for him because he said, dude, I just went straight to John Daly's. Like,
how many shots are in a John Daly officially at a country club with a country club pour? You're hanging out at a nice place.
It's a shot.
You order a John Daly.
How many? Shot and a half, shot and a quarter, right in there.
Okay. Let's just say 2 shots at a country club. It's probably fair.
Yeah, 2 shots. So you're rolling. Okay. You're rolling for you're ready to go to dinner after that.
Yeah, what, 7 or 8 innings sort of scenario?
Yeah, and that's just on the golf course. I mean,
right. That's the warm-up. But that's playing some quality golf. That's air quoted prime.
That's playing quality golf and shooting 65, taking your money, then taking your girlfriend out on the other guy's dime, and you had a good day.
Okay.
Yeah, that's PGA Tour player number 2. Now, moving on from that, we have a member at Pinnacle, at the Peak, I'll call it, who's a 1 handicap, and he went a different route. He said the chewing tobacco is constant. So he goes chewing tobacco at least a can a round. So he sticks with a round a can, depending on where the bets get. He fluctuates up or down, quarter, half a can. Okay. So then he says 2 beers with lunch, plus a full cooler on the golf course. So that's 2 beers at lunch. Let's just say you fit a 6-pack in the cooler. So you got a 6-pack on standby. On the front 9, you go with 2 Captain and Cokes, and then you adjust up as necessary on the back. So like if you're playing pretty well, you're doing good, you might go get 2 or 3 at the turn. And then if you're playing bad, you just make them doubles. So you're well on your way to Shitspaceville. And then he also put a little side note in here that said avoid eating. So
wow.
Yeah, I mean, so that's,
I like this
guy.
Yeah,
that's commitment right there.
The other question is, too, probably not doing Skull Bandits. You're talking like full-on Copenhagen.
No, yeah, he's not doing Skull Bandits. No, I believe his flavor is Copenhagen mint. I think is what he does. But no, I mean, this guy's a seasoned vet. He golfs Friday 1 day a week. He actually set the record last year for most Ubers taken home on a Friday in the club. At least he's not drinking and driving. So, and here's the thing: the guy's a stick. If he practiced all the time, he'd easily be a +3, former college player. I mean, the guy's a stud. When he's my partner, he shoots 84 and he starts complaining about something else, but that's neither here nor there.
I have another one, though, like for the chewing part of it, also go unnamed. I was impressed. Redman in the back, Copenhagen in the front at the same time.
Most people go business in the front, party in the back.
While drinking. two of them going. Wad in the back, the Copenhagen in the front with alcohol. Person's famous too.
I
was like, that's a man.
Good. Did I ever tell you about the John Deere qualifier when I had 2 can? The guy in the front 9 took an entire can and put it in one cheek, and then the back 9 took an entire can and put it in the other cheek. He was a club pro.
Of just regular dip?
Yeah, of just Grizzly, whatever mint.
The whole
can? He put the whole can in one cheek, and then the back 9, he whips that out. He pulled out another can, takes the entire thing, just stuffs it in his other cheek, and he
just left it just soaking for 9, basically. Oh,
I mean,
oh God. I've never seen anybody do that.
Good thing I didn't ask him for some. I don't know where I would have got it.
Can you imagine buzz or rush from that one?
If you're having to do that to get a buzz or rush, dude, I'm letting you know, you got some demons in you. I mean, that's like beyond wild turkey demons. You're on the Copenhagen demons.
Did he play better once he got that one on that second go around? Was he like He was
a club pro. I mean, he was a club pro. He was away from the family, I guess, for a day. It was like a hunting trip with the boys, and
he's just
good for him. I mean, I think he shot 75 or something like that. I was pretty happy with himself and got away from the office on a Monday.
Oh man, God, that's 2 cans of that's impressive. I'm just trying to gather like much of it in your system at one point. So he basically red-manned a thing of chew essentially. They just wadded it back there and called it.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. But
thank God I never started it. Oh, thank God I never started that habit. That must be. I've talked to people. That's like the worst habit to quit. You ever see anybody try to quit that? It's worse than drinking, from what I've heard.
It lasts like a hole, and then like someone presses and they make a bogey. All of a sudden, it's like I got to throw it in and calm the nerves. The thing about nicotine, talking to doctors, I mean, nicotine will make you shaky, right? If you're not used to it, nicotine will make you shaky. But then, if you have the shakes because you're on a downer, you have to get something to kind of. If you have the shakes because you're on an upper, like you just missed a 4-footer, you need something to calm you down because your body's absent from the nicotine.
Yeah, thank God I never did that one. But anyway, thank you for doing the research. Is there a PGA Tour player number 3, or are you going with PGA Tour number 1?
No, PGA Tour, that was 1 and 2.
Friday night.
That was PGA Tour. The other guys, I got 2 former NFL players here. One.
Athletes.
Definitely athletes. The first guy, you might know him, he was an Entourage. Famous guy, probably USC football. He says he goes through 4 shots of Jack Daniels and 2 cigarettes, which is usually consumed by the 8th hole. And I said, well, what happens if you get worse? He goes, it doesn't matter. It always gets better. Because if the golf doesn't get better, at least I'm drunk and I enjoy myself. So.
Now, does he smoke out? Just like he has his 2 smokes and he's 2 heaters and he's good
to
go?
He'll smoke when he drinks or, whatever. Like he's at a party. It's not like he's
casual.
Yeah, it's not like he's stepping outside at lunch having a cigarette, But yeah, I mean that was interesting. But the thing is, like 4 shots of Jack Daniel through 8 holes, and I'm normally in the parking lot. Yeah,
I was going to say that's going to probably, I'm going to that edge at this point. So far the synopsis from these elite athletes is somewhere around like, if you're taking all 18 holes, 6 to 8 ounces of hard alcohol for 18.
That's
kind of.
And that way he just cruises at the back. He grabs a couple drinks, he cruises at the back, at the turn. But I mean, when you're keeping a flask and you're going through 4 shots and 8 holes because you got the jitters and you're not doing very good, that's tough.
I was thinking it would be a little less than that, but like I said, these guys are trained professionals, so I'm not going to argue the results.
I will never, ever try to outdrink any one of the guys. Well, just one of them. Just one guy I would try to outdrink because he's PGA Tour player number 2. I would try and outdrink. The other guys, I would be divorced. I'm not even married. The second NFL player, let's see. He starts with 2 vodka Gatorades, or as he calls them, Faderades. He has 2 beers in reserve, 2 shots of Screwball, and 2 cigars in the bag, just in case it starts going awry. And then he, as the round goes on to the back 9, he basically will go with whatever. And we can't use his name on a podcast. I'm sure that you know exactly who this is. Sometimes he'll go with half an 8-ball. But, if he just if you see the cigar, if you see the cigar in his mouth and he's playing golf, he's not doing very good, because he always goes, I'm 6 over through 4. I just had a great lesson. I can't fathom how bad I'm hitting the ball. It's cigar time. I'm going to enjoy my nature walk. And
then he probably plays.
You know what? More drinky, less thinky.
There you go.
Yeah, and then
so we have figured out the matrix here. We're getting closer. It seems like. So then now we're also bringing in essentially almost like a plan B. So there's like a front 9 plan, and then the back 9 could be the 2 or 3 shots or a mixture of a cigarette or a dip, but there's like a nuclear button, right? If you need to hit it, if you're just ejecting, then it seems like the back 9 plan could be, there's less of, for lack of a better word, there's less of a blueprint here. It could get a little uglier, per se, or non-congruent.
Exactly. The back 9, there is no blueprint for the back 9. I've seen guys run out of alcohol when they need it the most and just scramble for whatever they can get. Coolers in backyards. Hey, can I borrow your dip? Hey, can I bum a cigarette? You don't even smoke. Yeah, but today's a different day. It's up to anything to distract you if the round starts going sideways. Like if you're Titanic and you've hit the iceberg, you start trying to find any sort of lifeboat.
Well, what you have to do is know somebody at the club who lives on the course, so you can always just go over to their house and walk in and grab beer.
I'm not going to say this officially in case our head pro is listening, but we do have basically a house of hole in the back that has a refrigerator. That's good. That's always well stocked. The problem is if you need to hit the hard liquor, you got to call in an airstrike. So you got to call the shop, have them send out the girl, because we don't have a drink card at our club. So we have to call Jose or Kimmy in the bar, and they have to run out with a plate of shots and go from there.
You do what you got to do.
We're survivors.
Yeah, I'd take you in a foxhole if we were getting shelled.
You would.
I'm with you.
I'd share a foxhole with you, but you'll find out at Dismal River, I think.
Are you going to make it out this year?
I blocked it off my schedule. So
we got a crew coming out this year. It's last year was a blast. This year, that group, you got some sticks coming. There's going to be some professional golfers out there. The Woodhead will not be the only guy playing tees this year. You got, hopefully JJ can make it. Maybe Edlo or Petey. You got Big Time Pow Grant Goltz coming out, and with a name like Big Time Pow, hits it a long way.
Sounds like it.
You're playing you got some athletes. Do you want to hear the big story? It's a great
I do.
one.
I 100% do.
Okay, so Big Time Pow. So Goltz just kills it, right? And first time we're ever out at Dismal River, no one was members. They put us out with the assistant golf pro to kind of chaperone us around to see if we were going to cause any trouble, which I don't know how you could cause trouble in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to damage. But anyway, we were around. And the back tees back in 2009, 10, it was 7,700 from the tips. It was crazy hard. The tee boxes aren't even there anymore. I think the slope was 78 or almost 79. So, got the guys who never played at the golf course before, right? And everyone hits it, quote unquote, carries it 300 yards, right? Sure. So the assistant's I'd kind of hit it like a 260 carry, and Grant's we used something a little bit more aggressively. He's well, that's like a 295 carry, 300 yards. And Grant's yeah, it's okay. So that line's where Goltz hits this drive and just kills it, right? And the look on the face he's never seen Aiken. And we're all standing there, and he just looks at this ball flight. He's like, "Jeez, man, that's just big time." Goltz turns around, looks at it, and goes, "You're goddamn right it is." And then from that point forward, we're like, "Big time pow, big time pow." So then stuck. He just looks straight at her, "Goddamn right it is." That the look of the guy's face, like, because you can have to imagine like how many people could literally, take these. He's a great athlete, former D1 golfer. Like he can really play in USAM stuff. He can play, but to watch that guy's face, he was thinking, there is no way in hell this guy can go to the tips, carry it over that shit for that far. No way. Like, I'm going to be searching for balls all day. He just smokes this thing. The look on the guy's face was just like, oh, man, that's just big time. Goddamn right it is.
Goddamn
big time
right
pow.
it is.
Big time pow.
That's like the Kisner story.
So big time pow's coming. It's a big time pow.
Big time pow. It's like the Kisner story. This ain't no hobby.
Big time pow. It's the Kisner story. This ain't no hobby. It's BTP, right? Big time pow. So he's coming, and he's you guys, that group from the back, it's going to be competitive with all of us, but we got some sticks coming. I hope JJ can make it, and I hope Petey or one of the other guys too can come on up and do it, because it's with that group coming out there and that hang. That's
I really hope Mitch,
and the group is so much fun.
I really hope Mitch Berger can make it. I really hope he decides he can go. I think we're gonna have a great group. Yeah, that'll be awesome. And then
gonna be fun.
You said you got Ken Bryant's gonna. Does he play golf?
Yeah, he's a good player. He's like 5-6 handicap.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's coming out with us, and Kenton is going to be playing for us, our group and the club. He's going to be playing, I think, both nights at Dismal River out back for an acoustic set. So we get to golf with them. And then we got Kenton out back, fire with scotch and steaks after dinner.
Ooh.
So how cool is that to see that level of talent up close? And he's with us. I think he's officially booked. So get to meet Kenton a little bit. Maybe you guys can do a duet to get back there. You can do the Islands in the Stream or something.
Carrie, you know what? Here's the thing. When you mentioned that to me the other night, I actually went online and listened to it, and I have to say it was mildly impressive. But Melissa looked at me. She's like, "What are you listening to?" And I said, "Just enjoy it. Just, I don't really know which notes I'm going to hit, but karaoke is my biggest fear, by the way."
You got to do Dolly's part, don't you? I mean, Kenton's got to be Kenny.
Well, maybe
you got to be
Dolly. Here's the thing. I may have to get a few of those new COVID tests in order to hit the Dolly Parton notes. or you know what? You might be able to get JJ up there. He might actually wear a wig and do it.
Oh, he's going to be a wild man on this. I hope he makes it.
How are we going to keep the IPA in stock for this guy? I mean, he drinks like craft beer.
We'll just tell him they'll just take care of it for him. Slauson's going to run him over again. Like, he's going to knock him down a sand at, 2,000 feet in the air, and JJ's going to wind up in the bottom of the dip. Something crazy's going to happen.
I want
something's going to get broke.
After seeing Slauson post that video of him hitting balls in the blizzard, I've wanted nothing more than to meet the guy.
Best. He's like that group of guys from Nebraska are just the great, first off, just great people, fun to hang out with, and the dynamics. I don't know how it started. We had people coming from all over, and sometimes when you do a golf trip, it's like, well, how's everybody going to get along? And I had guys from our club, and then my buddy come from Minneapolis, who's he's the best 18 ever because he plays to his handicap and he grinds the hell out of it. He's competitive. So you had all of these characters that all kind of met, some of the guys didn't all know each other. And a great trip. So the groundwork had been laid for this trip. And it's that group is Riggins, Woody, Slaw, those guys are the best. Fun. I could even, it's not because, whatever, they played in the NFL. I could give two shits less. It's just those guys are that much fun to hang out with. They're that much fun. I mean, there were times where I was literally it had me just literally in tears, doubled over in tears laughing. The guys are that much fun to hang out. So we're going to have, we got the vibe of this trip. So the guys we're bringing, I think, fit into the vibe of this competitive group of guys who like to beat the hell out of each other but we'll just talk shit the entire time and then go have beers and steaks words and like do it all over again all day long. No one wants to lose. Nobody in that group wants to lose.
So if I show up, who should I expect as my partner in terms of handicaps?
What do you
is it a partner?
Well,
is it a partner thing? Do you change every day?
Yeah, because sometimes we'll change it each 9.
Oh, nice.
So because we'll play like 36 or 50 a day sometimes, at least 36. So you're changing it all the time. So then they can just because it's handicaps, and then you do it with partners. So because you could be out there if you're off the grid, we don't want to be searching for balls for. I mean, it could So you got a part. It's just nest ball.
Love it
with handicap, right? So if you're out, you play aggressive. It's like it doesn't matter. Your overall score doesn't matter. But then you'll get like shit talking, where all of a sudden, okay, after the whole match, no. I've had enough of it, DW. Me and Riggins are going together. Pick somebody. I don't care. How the matches just happen based on shit talking, right? Does that make any sense? It's just like the matchup.
100% love that. If I ever am your partner out there, which it sounds like it might be inevitable at some point, I'll leave you that 100.
Oh, we're taking on somebody.
I'll leave you that 160-yard distance that you can hit that hybrid in every single time, and we'll go from there.
Well, no, there's no alternative. You're playing your ball to the hole.
Well, no, I get that, but we might want to throw a curveball at it and say, hey, like you guys won that one, we're going to go alternate shot on this one. Low handicaps at T-balls. You can always throw a little wrench in the spoke there, get a little action. The other game I heard about that happened down in Mexico, PGA Tour player not to be named, was that they had a match between, it was him and his buddy and then his brother. They gave his brother like 18 shots. And his brother's probably a 10 handicap. They gave him 18 shots. And they said, you get as many mulligans as you want, but you have to take a shot of tequila before you hit your mulligan.
It's a bet.
The prop bet. The prop bet. But PGA Tour Pro unnamed shot 58 or 59. And I think you only had to take 3 or 4 mulligans maybe. Like, I mean, that's drunkenly golfing your ball in Mexico to be playing really well. And
I think that could be ugly though, because you could use this net for 36 holes though.
Well, I think Slosson's got the beat on us, unless you turn back the clocks to your college days when you were going to Southeast Illinois State or wherever it was, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Oshkosh.
Wisconsin, the beer really flowed up there. I was prime at that point. I'm slipping a lot at this point in my career, but I can hang for a day or two. Well, it's not completely lost.
Yeah, if you have anybody up there that can give me some New Glarus Brewing, just let me know. The best brewery.
Also, would be a good match. Oh, that stuff is so
unbelievable.
Good. And you go to Wisconsin, you have to drink it. But what a good match, I think, is like, because this would just be fun for us to watch. Like you and Woody, I get JJ and Big Time Pow.
Oh, shit.
Where it's like almost no handicap. Like everyone's just playing, essentially, everyone in that group's better than 0.
What is Woody's handicap?
So it's just throw the handicaps away. 0 or +1.
Okay, because after seeing him at the Big Money Classic, I might have to negotiate some shots.
I don't think he played much until
Well, he couldn't have.
He's a legit 0.
No, I'm sure Danny's a legit 0. The thing was, I remember seeing that he was playing, and I went on and just looked at the scores to see how he did. I think he played better the second day. But when you're coming from Nebraska in the middle of winter in December, and you're going down to, or January, you're going down to play in Florida, that's a tough deal.
I mean, I played in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, and it felt like I hadn't touched a club much in 2 months, and I mean, you know what I mean? Like you have that kind of a layoff. You just don't have it. There's enough good shots in there.
Where'd you play in Vegas again?
Got to play the Summit Club. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That place is so cool. It's a Discovery Land property. It's just like the coolest vibe of fun out there. Then I drove up to Mesquite to play Wolf Creek. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it's called, where they built that course out of the mountains like Golden Tee. That was crazy. Yeah. I've never seen a course like that. So, no, got a little golfing. But, God, yeah, I mean, I think DW is rusty. I think he'd be like in the summer when he was playing all the time. He might have got to like +2, but he's good, and he kills it he's a great competitor. Obviously, he's not going to fit the bit.
Right.
Like, that's the other
but
thing.
You don't.
Guys who are professional athletes, man, they're
Yeah,
good.
no, but DW. I mean, you don't qualify for a USGA event being a slouch. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, he qualified for the 4-ball with his buddy. I mean, you're doing that. You're a legit player. You qualify for a USGA event, you're a legit player. Yeah,
like
no.
that would be fun for us to watch you guys go at it, though. From the tips on the Nicklaus course, out the big boy Dismal course, 4 players of that level, no shots. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That would, and I have no idea if you could take any of those 4 players and interchange idea who would win.
We could. The thing is, I gotta see what JJ's handicap is, because I got called out the other day for having a Hollywood handicap that I couldn't play to. And I'm like, here's the thing. I am my handicap at our course, because I play our course all the time and I know it and all the other stuff. The guys on tour that are +5s, like John Rahm, they're traveling +5 handicaps. So don't,
That's low to me. Yeah, they got to be like +7 or 8.
Well, I think Rahm is +5. Because the thing is, when they're playing,
are you plus?
But right now, my handicap from the Blue Tees, which is 1 up at Pinnacle Peak, is +7, and then going back to the Championship Blacks, I think it's +5 or. And I just had a run where, since I started working and not caring as much about what every shot meant in golf, I threw in a couple 64s, a couple 63s. I basically have to shoot 67, 66 to maintain my handicap. But if I go out there and shoot 69, it doesn't move the needle at all the other way.
Right.
And so that's where it's like, basically with handicaps, what they've always done is they measure your potential. And you're supposed to shoot your handicap once out of every 10 rounds. And
JJ's got to be a +5 or +6.
He does, but the thing is, JJ is going to these. I mean, here's the thing: the Monday qualifier that he played in San Diego, I hope he posts that, because Ryan French said he was sniffing 80, trying to break 80, and the weather out there was a flipping snow hurricane. And for his handicap, if he gets that, hopefully they don't throw it out to keep it. He can move back down to a +4, somewhere in there. But Ryan French had JJ stats out of, he has not shot over par in a qualifier in I think over a year or something.
Yeah, he's 10 events. He's 36 under, and it's averaging 3 or 4 under if you add it all up.
Right.
Or something aggregate.
Which, and here's the thing: in regular tour golf, is awesome. In Monday qualifiers, it's good playing, but you got to sneak in a couple more. And the fact that I was heartbroken he did not make it into the Sony in the playoffs.
Oh, he was so close. Yeah, so close.
Because he would have gone.
He's gonna.
Go ahead.
He's getting close. He's gonna get into a couple of these. He's trending the right way.
Well,
he's played some really good golf lately.
Right, he hasn't. He's chasing that 130 mile an hour. I think it's clubhead speed. I think is what he's chasing. He's up to 127 miles an hour as a day. You have that one and only Twitter troll, Paul Regali. He's always trolling everybody, making fun of him. But, I mean, that guy is just a slap. I mean, good Lord.
Well, we got to get to our Olympics, since you are PGA Tour kind of, what do you call it, the horse whistle PGA Tour? Because no one knows you, but you know everybody. All right, so give me what we've seen. So we haven't talked since, the holidays and everything. So in the last 3 minutes here, give me your synopsis of what you're seeing on tour this year. A couple trend lines you're thinking, what you're hearing from inside information, and kind of give me your quick, we're 1 month into the season, what's your take?
You're 1 month into the season, but, really you're 2-3 months, because it starts with the, it starts with the, God, what they moved everything around, but.
Yeah, I can't even remember anymore. Is it Safeway?
Safeway. Yeah, it was.
I'm so confused on the schedule. Was it started?
But look at it this way. But Victor Hovland grabs his second win. Mayakoba, great win for him. 1.3 million. Robert Streb came out of the woodwork and hit that shot to an inch, 2 inches in the playoff to win.
He's been struggling lately.
Well,
right? It just shows how crazy it's just.
Well, 2 years after working with Club Pro Guy, they made it. They made it.
Big moment for CPG. It's a big moment. It's validation for his.
Well, he had to suspend Stan Perry from the club, so money's a little tight for those guys right now. So it's good that he was able to get a commission from Robert Streb. I think that 3% winner's fee goes to the coach.
Yeah. So with Stan out of there, definitely revenue is going to be a little bit shy. But like you said, bad consequences.
That's too bad.
Stan knew this.
Yeah, he did. He knew it going in. He was playing with a mixed group too. I mean, the guy's got to know better on those lag putts. Kevin Na getting the win, Stony Open. Kevin Na, no doubt in my mind, a Hall of Famer. I mean, he seems like he gets a win every other year. I mean, just like low-key. And the fact, I don't even think, has Kevin Na even played a President's Cup?
No, that's what I'm just going to say, you Ryder Cup him with as good as he putts. Do you want him on that Ryder Cup team to come up with I
100% want him on my team in the Ryder Cup. I don't want him on my team in the last round of the QBE shootout. I'll just say that. You watch the last round of the QBE shootout when he was paired with O'Hare, he didn't make anything. Wasn't hitting the ball out of his shadow. But in terms of how he putts, yes, you can find if you put him with a guy like a Matt Kuchar. Well, yeah, if you put him with a guy like Matt Kuchar.
Or do you put him with a bomber?
But if you put him with a bomber though, that puts way too much emphasis on Kevin's putting and way too much emphasis on the bomber. Because if the bomber puts it into the woods and you got to take Kevin's ball 190 yards out in the rough, that's not ideal, you know?
I like him on the Ryder Cup because you need guys who can make, right? You got to make putts. And that dude can putt. He's
putt.
Good. He's just.
How many years has he been? He's been on tour for something like 12 or 13 years. Since he was 19 or 20.
But he's getting a win now every year like clockwork. Start a new season. Oh, Kevin, not a win. Here we go again. It's just literally turning into a ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Right. He snuck in, won the Colonial a couple of years ago. He's good. He won the Shriners whipping the golf ball back when he was with Titleist and Izod.
I think he's underappreciated good.
Right. And the thing is I think Kevin Na, from what I've heard, I think Kevin Na was left off of a lot of Ryder Cup, President's Cup teams, whatever you want to call them, because early on he had an attitude about him that people didn't like kind of like the Patrick Reed. People would not piss on him if he was on fire. He just had his own deal. He didn't talk to anybody. Just other guys that I have heard who have played on tour and are moved on from them that now, they did not like Kevin Na, didn't like him one bit. And I think he's turned that around and he's super established on the PGA Tour. And Tiger Woods is joking with him at TPC Sawgrass a couple of years ago, walking the putts in and all that other stuff. And I think he's kind of embraced that to the point where they're now people are embracing him. He's embracing other people. You know, he's not like a lot of the Asian culture that's on tour where it's like, hey, I have myself, I have my team. I'm going to go play a practice round with just my caddy and my 8 coaches. Leave me the F alone.
I had him on the podcast, and we talked a little bit before and after, like we always did. Jordan, he's a good dude, man. I enjoyed talking to him than having him on. Funny, easygoing. He was cool as hell.
Yeah.
Spending some time with him. I like Kevin Na.
Right, and
I just did. He's a good dude.
I think he just made that transition where he just kind of let his guard down a little bit, and he's turned into a good dude that everybody on tour likes. The other thing, I'm not going to bat.
That was my sense of him. I liked him.
Yeah, the other guy I'm not going to bat an eye at is Harris English. How good a golf is that guy playing?
Is he playing some golf? Talk about easy, right? Just bomb it out there, hit the ball, put it in the hole, next hole. I think he's getting the most out of his talent.
I 100% agree. The thing was, people forget, Harris was a really good player. Not going to say it's against an equipment company, but he was a really good player early on. And then he signed a contract with Callaway and he switched coaches. And when you go from playing Ping all your life to going to playing Callaway, it's a different animal. Callaway's products are super hot. Ping's products are not super hot. They're consistent. You always know what you're going to get with Ping, but Ping is if you don't grow up playing Ping, you don't see a lot of players go to, hey, like I've had Callaway's for all these years, I'm going to go get a set of Pings. You don't see that. You see people leaving Ping and going to different companies because they're going to pay them a lot of money to go play their product. And I think what happened was he switched coaches. He went into a different club company, ruined his confidence, left that coach. He's now back with his old coach. He's back with Ping, and the dude is seeing the ball going through whatever window he's hitting it through. Sean and Kevin Na played with Harris English, Matt Kuchar, final day of the QBE, and there was a shot, and I think it's a 16th hole, par 3. Sean goes, I hit 5 or 6 iron, high draw in there to, 15 feet. He goes, Harris English hit a cut 6 iron to 3 feet, and he goes, it was one of the best shots he's ever seen anyone hit. He goes, the guy is just playing unreal golf.
He's the win's not surprising. I mean, he was trending.
No, so
all right, last question I got. Well, I have to ask you. This is the last question, but big tournament this week feels like big boy golf tournament down in San. What do you like this week? If you're, because we'll get this out before the week ends. Probably go out Friday. Today's Thursday. I have not looked. So without even looking at your board, do you have a pick that you like right now for with the Farmers?
That's tough. I mean, normally with the Farmers, you got to play. You got to play rain or shine, cold weather. It's end of January in California. The ball is not going anywhere. I really like Cameron Smith. The guy, I played with the guy at Canadian Q School several years ago, and he is an absolute, one of the nicest kids I've ever met. He's a freak athlete. He started coming into his own and getting comfortable on tour. Yeah, he has so much power. He has so much power, and he's finally starting to figure it out and harness it in. It looks a little bit. But I mean, I like Cameron Smith. I like Wyndham Clark. Wyndham took a lot of time off after the end of the year. He kind of took a couple months and just spent time with his family. The last round in the last 9 holes at American Express, you could see he started getting it back into the red numbers, started finding a groove. I really like Wyndham, and Wyndham really likes Torrey Pines. I think Cameron Davis, Wyndham Clark, Scotty Scheffler, I think they're all going to get wins this year. Yeah, but this week, if I had to go with one guy, I'd probably pick Cameron Davis this week.
Any other tidbits or little things we should know about, just from your?
Who's dating who's out there? Siwoo Kim's hat deal.
Just golf in general. Any other golf tidbit? Look out for this or watch that. And I knew I had one more question. Is there any people in the listening to golf podcast should be, a little bit aware of things you're seeing, trend lines?
I'll tell you this, in terms of
words of wisdom.
In terms of equipment, I just ordered the Ping G425 driver. It was good. However, the new Titleist driver from when I played it has made huge strides, super hot. It's a great looking club. And it also gets me excited because I know Sub 70 Golf is coming out with their first driver in a couple months.
The 849 Pro in standard would probably like April or May. It's good. I had it out in Vegas. I had the Pro version. Couldn't be happier with it. I could work it both long. I'm excited about this one. A lot of carbon fiber, a lot of adjustable weights. I think we got it. So I'll be curious to see. We'll send you one out. We will have to get a comparison for you of how it performs. It's to the standard that we think it's at, but I'm pretty confident it's going to do quite well once it gets out. So we'll definitely get you a 12 degree with a 4 degrees face and senior flex shaft, and just start it right and just yell hook, and you could walk around aimlessly a little bit, a little confused.
If that happened, I would have to go with old Bill Murray from Caddyshack. I would have to cut my right Achilles, so I'd hang back on my right side in order to block it feel like I'm blocking it into the woods every time. just to cover the 12-degree, 4-degree shed.
12-degree hook. Exactly. Be perfect.
Oh, another dark horse I got to say, I think he's going to get a win this year is Ryan Palmer. That guy played so good last year.
He's been playing good.
He played so good for many years. Like, I think Ryan Palmer is going to get a win this year.
Ball striking Jesse, man. If his putter stays consistent for 4 days, as good as he hits it, right? I mean, I think that's kind of his key. He's gotta make putts. He's getting close. He's playing really good.
He's playing really good golf. I remember I talked with Dave Stockton. This is maybe a year or two ago, and I just asked him, like, what do you think about Ryan Palmer's putting stroke? And he said him and his dad worked with him a little bit, just getting stuff done. Like he really likes it. There's one other thing he said that was really good about it, and then one other thing he didn't like about it when he started getting into trouble. And basically, he told me Ryan Palmer's caddy had a talk with him because Ryan was just miserable on the golf course. He was just wanting to win so bad or play so well. He was just miserable to be around. He was putting way too much pressure on himself. And his caddy goes, hey, either you're going to have a lot more fun out here or you're going to have to find someone else to get on your bag. Ryan Palmer goes, okay, we'll just say screw it. We'll go out there and have a good time. And ever since then, the guy's top 25 in it every week.
Something to be said for that, isn't it? Mindset, right? I think sometimes, too, you guys push so hard, try so hard. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes you can I know it's a cliche, but over-try, right?
Always.
Put too much pressure versus just letting it happen and just kind of DJing it, right? Like, I don't know, man. Going to hit a power fade down the fairway. I'm going to hit the 8-iron to 12 feet. And I'm going to make the putt.
Exactly.
I don't know. Next hole.
I mean, all you can do is
Next hole.
just be in every shot, one shot at a time. That's all you can do.
And I can't. And like you said, you're going to see the focus I'm going to have and just trying, but not over trying to hit my hybrid from 182 to the middle of greens.
Like, it wasn't 170 or 160. It was 182. Perfect.
6 hybrid, like 185, solid little cut, and it's just I don't with it. I can't. But we're going center of greens. We're going to try to par the competition to death. That's what I do. Old man golf. Down the middle, on the green, 2-putt par. Next hole. We're not just trying to hit par 5s and 2. A little dangerous for my game. We're going to plot it to here. We're going to 5-wood it to here. We're going to wedge it to the middle of the green. I'm going to 2-putt. I'm going to shoot 76 like an old man from the most boring thing you've ever seen, and then we're going to win our match.
Golfers like you are the reasons golfers like me get aggressive and try and birdie every hole. And then you're the fallback guy. You're the Alamo, because I know you're never going to be in trouble doing that.
I'm bunt, putt, bunt, bud, putt. That's all I got. That's all
my
I
boss
got,
called me. My boss called me flap today. So.
Well, don't worry. We'll get that fixed by the time Dismal comes out. But let's do this again, my man. Hope you're feeling better. Thanks for your time. Thanks for the insights. Always fun. Let me know how that Chesterfield goes down. How you're feeling after about 3 or 4 of those one morning. That could be another follow-up for the podcast to see if we need a lung transplant after a half of those things.
I will definitely be more in the bag next time I talk to you, and I'll be sending you pictures. I think the last picture I sent you was a bottle of wild turkey at Christmas that you said wasn't real wild turkey.
It was. Well, the podcast now has it for you, so you almost have to live up to it now.
Do you think that we could get some
It is what it is. You created the monster.
With the new sub-70 apparel line, do you think that we could get some shirts made? Asking for a friend.
Like we could do like a special line just for, like our favorite elite athletes like yourself.
Yeah, Mike Dominick golf, Chesterfield and Wild Turkey never hit it so far.
And just have them like a dancing pattern on the shirts, like the like Tabasco kind of used to do, but with Chesterfields and Wild Turkey bottles.
Well, you gotta have it so the sleeve is easily roll up, so you can put the pack of smokes in your sleeves. I'm sure you did one of those rocking the '69 Chevelle back in the day.
It was an '84 Z28, but no, that was just the mullet flying in with White Snake going. It's a good look. It was the '80s. Don't judge.
I was born in the '80s.
No, I'm sorry. It would have been
different '80s.
No, I would have been 1889. So yeah, that was about accurate. That was a body glove T-shirt, a full mullet, 6'1" and about 148 pounds.
Perfect. Yeah,
It's good
but
luck.
those are
good
Marlboro
luck, man.
Reds though. At that,
Yeah, that one smoked rolls back in that day. It was either light or full cowboy killers. Yeah, it wasn't exotic like Chesterfields or Benson and Hedges or anything like that. I mean, I'm from a town of 1,000 in the middle of nowhere. You smoke Marlboros and you took the T-tops off and you put the casino. You lived life to the fullest, man. That's what we did. That's what we did. All right, don't hurt yourself.
I will not. I got to go put these steaks on.
All right, always
I'll
fun.
talk to you later.
All right, later.